Alright guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Jake the Fate, and this video, it's a little bit different. I'm going to be talking about where I've been, what happened, where I'm at now, and it's just a lot. It's a lot that I've been going through. So, I guess I'll start from the beginning. I decided to come out here, get away from being inside and all that crap. So, being out here feels good. Come out here usually to meditate and just be out in the wilderness. It feels good sometimes. And I'm sorry about the noise. I know I didn't bring that little microphone I always usually have. So, yeah, it's not gonna be the best quality. But, I feel like this was important, and I felt like just recording now because I have some time to myself and felt like making a video. So, yeah. So basically, I'm gonna be raw in this video and be as honest as possible because, it's not fair to the people that have been who have been following me for a few years now. I've been doing this for probably 3 years, but there's guys that have been on my channel since day one, and yeah, so as a lot of you guys know, I am very open about my addiction and my demons. I made a video a few months ago, and I've been struggling with this thing for a couple years. Oh, there's a bee right there. Motherfucker. Where do I start, right? Well, my entire life I've always had two passions, right? Working out and music, like guitar playing. Since I was 12, 13, I've always been into fitness and music and that kind of stuff. And so I've always been disciplined when it comes to doing things, right? Growing up, I was always a kid trying to fit in. I was always made fun of, picked on because I was a chunky kid. So, I never really fit in with anybody. I've always felt like, I'm never gonna get a girlfriend, I'm never gonna get this. I felt like an outcast, growing up. So around 21 years old, I really got into fitness, and I was working at this gym, and my life just became about that, just working out, bodybuilding, and that kind of consumed my life. And it was around the same time where I started to drink occasionally, and it was I was hanging out with all these personal trainers from different gyms. It was a bunch of girls, a bunch of hot girls, and young guys, and I'm thinking, well, if they're doing it, I can do it, And so it got to the point where we would go to clubs, we would go to a bunch of places in the city, and I was never really the type. It was never and I felt like I was just trying to fit in, trying to fit in with them. I've always done that, my entire life. And so then, from there, I was like, what, I'm not even gonna bother with that. And I was still playing guitar here and there, not really taking it that seriously. And so, around that time, I started to say, let me just drink alone. I started drinking in my basement, playing the guitar, thinking I was Slash or fucking James Hetfield, because I would see them do it, and I'm like, oh, I guess that's normal. And then, from there, my drinking just progressed. It progressed a lot, and I didn't think it was a problem until my family, was like, you're drinking way too much. And, it was probably about a year that I was doing that. And then from there, I went to my first rehab. I went out to California. And, I got out, and I really didn't think it was an issue, and I just started going out back to drink, and, it was relapse. And so, I began to drink occasionally. But it started becoming a problem when I got into construction. You know, I got into construction and everybody drinks. You know, everybody drinks. And so it just became like a second nature thing where you drink all day, you know, and it got really out of control when, you know, they would be drinking their drinks and I would drink the way I drank, and it was bad, you know, and my life just took a really dark turn. You know, I've been in hospitals, been arrested, DUIs, everything, you know, you name it. So then, like, around 2018, I decided, you know what, I'm done. And I took my recovery seriously. You know, I got, you know, a lot of clean time. You know, I had around 5 years, almost 5 years. And, you know, my life was going great. You know, that's when I started my channel, around 2022, I think, 2023, around there. That's when I started my channel. And, you know, I was living out in North Carolina, and things were great, you know, and then I moved back here to New York. Yeah, like I had a relapse last June, you know, around my birthday, and managed to get 3 months, relapsed again. Got 9 months, relapsed again, you know, a couple months ago. But every single time it was just like rock bottom, like worse than the last time. And so this last one, this last relapse, it was really bad. You know, I'm not gonna get really into it, but it was bad. Like, I completely lost myself. You know, I was sent to the psych ward probably like 3 times or twice. You know, I was really depressed. I was going through a lot of depression, and I didn't know I was depressed. You know, I really didn't know, because I was like, I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. I'm always in a positive mood. And, you know, I was diagnosed with chronic depression, and they gave me medication. I was taking it for a while. Then, you know, I said, I don't want to take anything that's going to alter my mind. You know, I want to do it by myself, or I can handle it. But I couldn't. You know, I stopped taking it for about a week, and within that week, I relapsed again. And I went back to the psych ward because I went fucking psycho. You know, I got to the point where, you know, I lost everything. You know, not everything, but like myself. You know, I completely just didn't care. You know, I didn't care anymore if I lived or if I died. It got to that point. And, you know, I hit such a low that I was literally just on the streets. You know, I didn't care. You know, I just didn't care. You know, just drinking nonstop. I wasn't eating, nothing. And, you know, so I decided one night, you know, I have a couple good friends, you know, they came over, and, you know, by this time, I was already like throwing up, puking blood, you know, just on my own throw up on the streets, and it was bad, man. It was really bad. So I decided, you know, they came and they were like, you have 2 options right now. You can either go to rehab, or you can sit here and die. And so I decided, you know what, like, I think it's time. You know, I need to go into treatment. And I was out there for a month. You know, I got out a couple of days ago, and it's something I needed. You know, it's something I really needed to, you know, to get my head back in a place where it needs to be. Now, I really needed that. I needed to get to a place in my head where I needed to be, you know. And so, you know, I felt like that's where my journey began. You know, I went into treatment. It was the best experience I've ever experienced, man. Like, because I took it seriously. I was like, I'm not here for the girls. I'm not here for the cool guys or the guys that are like trying to like whatever. I was like, I'm here to fucking get my shit straight. And, you know, for the most part, it worked. You know, it really did. And when I got out of there, you know, I knew what I had to do. You know, and I'm slowly trying to get my life on track. And I'm not gonna say back together, because the life I was living wasn't it. And I'm a huge spiritual person. I had to get in tuned again with my spirituality and focus on what's important. Focus on what's important, because I've destroyed friendships, I've destroyed relationships, I've destroyed a lot of things, and I just didn't care. And the cool part about, going there, they allowed me to play the guitar. There was like some talent show or something, and I was able to play the guitar. I played a few songs. There was this girl that wanted to play a song. I had to learn it by ear. I went on YouTube and I'm like trying to figure it out, and we managed to do it. It was cool, man. It was fucking awesome. And then this guy brought in an electric. It was all acoustic, and then the guy brought in an electric guitar, and I was just like going in, dude. It was cool, because I'm like, I haven't played in front of a crowd in years. It's been a long time. It was like 100 dudes and like close to 80 girls. It was a lot of people, and it was pretty cool. And the fact that I'm there to get better and everybody's in the same boat. If you ever been to rehab, you know how that is. But there's a couple of people that are actually delusional. Yeah, I just wanted to make this video, to clear the air. And I'm probably not going to be making videos as often. I was doing truck driving, and I got back into iron work. So I just got to like put myself first for the time being. I would love to keep making videos, and because I've done that in the past where I said it and failed, because it's not cool, at age 31, still dealing with this shit, man. Like, another rehab, at 31, it sucks, and it's something I'm gonna have to live for the rest of my life, and I just got to be on top of that shit, take my medication, follow a program, do everything that I have to do, be a better person, do everything that I can to, be happy, because that's what really matters at the end of the day. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. I don't know if I said anything of value, I'm just here kind of venting, and I kind of just skimmed through it, man, because if I really told you my war story, you'd be like, what the fuck? Like, and yeah, I'm in a good place right now, mentally, physically, not really physically, I'm trying to get back into shape, emotionally, spiritually, I feel great. And so with that, I brought my guitar, might do some little outdoor playing. So I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Wow.